Do you believe that there are places that don't need ghosts to make people feel scared? It's not because someone is chasing you. It wasn't because of the screams in the middle of the night, but it was because of a very strange feeling. It feels like that place was never truly left behind. In northwestern Hong Kong, amidst the ancient villages of the Pingshan region, stands a school that has been closed for nearly 3 decades. The school bell has stopped ringing. There are no more students. There are no more teachers. But strangely enough, very few locals dare to enter this place after sunset. They described hearing footsteps echoing in the empty hallway. The sounds of children laughing and playing filled the dust-covered classrooms. And most importantly, it was the figure of a woman in a red dress, said to silently watch anyone who dared to step through the rusty iron gate. That's Tat Tak School. A small, seemingly ordinary school, but it is considered by many to be one of Hong Kong's most famous haunted places. But, is there really something supernatural about this place? Or are they all just stories woven together over generations? If you enjoy unsolved mysteries, visit our channel for more fascinating videos. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Today, we will turn back time, not just to explore chilling legends, but also to uncover the truth about the school that has become a symbol of fear in Hong Kong. If you ever have the chance to visit Hong Kong today, most people will immediately think of skyscrapers, bustling streets, or the brightly lit Victoria Harbour. But nearly a century ago, Hong Kong is not quite like that. In the northwestern part of the New Territories, the area now known as the New Territories, there still exist traditional villages with histories spanning hundreds of years. They are. Pingshan is one of them. This place is famous for its old houses, ancient temples, and sprawling fields. Life moves at a slow pace. Children grow up amidst rice paddies. Adults live primarily by farming. For many families at that time, going to school was an incredibly precious opportunity. Therefore, in 1931, local people and philanthropists joined forces to build Tat Tak School. The name Tat Tak in Chinese means something close to achieving morality or cultivating virtue, reflecting the desire to educate the younger generation not only with knowledge but also with character. The school isn't big. It consisted of only a few rows of classrooms, a schoolyard, and a simple living area. But for the children in the area, it's a whole world. Every morning, the school bell rang out across the fields. Groups of students in uniforms ran along the dirt roads. Laughter and chatter echoed throughout the schoolyard. The classrooms were always filled with the sound of students reading aloud. No one could have imagined at that time that this very place holds so many childhood memories. One day it will become a symbol of death and ghost stories. Entering the second half of the 20th century, Hong Kong began to change at a dizzying pace. Industrial zones sprung up. The city is developing rapidly. Hundreds of thousands of people left their rural villages to find work in cities. Pingshan is no exception. Young families are moving away one by one. The number of children is gradually decreasing. Classrooms that used to be packed with students began to become sparsely populated. There were years. There are only a few students left in one class. The once bustling corridors are now silent except for the sound of the wind. For any school, when there are no more students, it also lost its reason for existence. Final. After nearly 7 decades of operation, Tat Tak School officially closed in 1998. There was no big farewell ceremony. There were no special events. Simply, the gate was locked, and the school was neglected. Time is the most patient destroyer. The first year, it's just a few layers of dust covering the tables and chairs. Third year, weeds began to grow through the cracks in the concrete patio. Year 5, the first window shattered. Summer storms ripped through the roof tiles. Rainwater was flowing into the classrooms. The paint on the walls is peeling off. The ceiling was rotting. Green vines clung tightly to each wall, as if trying to devour the entire school. The blackboard is still there, but those white chalk lines disappeared a long time ago. Student chairs lay scattered haphazardly. Some of them are tilted. One of them has a broken leg. Some seats remained in the same position as if the last person sitting there had only just gotten up. The space was so quiet that you can hear the sound of water dripping onto the floor, the sound of palm leaves rustling against the window, and the wind whistled through the long corridors. It's the kind of silence that makes people start to imagine. Because our brains simply don't like absolute silence. It will fill the void with sounds that sometimes don't even exist. Maybe it is from here. Strange stories began to emerge. Initial, only a few curious local youths ventured into exploring the abandoned school. They took pictures, recorded a video. Then he recounted that he had heard very strange things. One person said he heard children running on the second floor. Another person claimed to have seen a figure standing at the end of the hallway. Some people say that when they enter the restroom, they feel like there's always someone standing behind them. Not long after, those stories began to spread. Each person added a detail. Each time I tell the story became even more terrifying. From an abandoned school, Tat Tak has gradually become a popular spot among Hong Kong's ghost hunters. Even many paranormal investigation groups consider this a must-visit location. But among all those rumors, there is one story that appears more often than any other legend. A woman, always wear a red dress, standing silently in the darkness. And according to the story, if you see her, then maybe you'll never want to go back to this school again. The scariest thing about Tat Tak School, it's not ruin, not rooms covered in dust, but it's the fact that almost everyone in Hong Kong knows the same story. A woman, she wore a red dress, standing silently in the shadows. Nobody knows who she is. No one knows whether she ever existed or not. But over the past few decades, that image has become an iconic symbol associated with this abandoned school. The strange thing is, no two people tell the exact same story. Each witness, I remember another detail. According to the most popular rumor, that woman used to be a teacher at Tat Tak School. Other stories say she was the principal. Some versions even suggest that she was simply an employee working at the school. No one knows which is the first story, but all versions have the same common feature. They said that the woman ended her own life right inside the school grounds. Some people claim she hanged herself in the women's restroom. Some say she died in an abandoned room. Others say that she passed away after suffering a mental shock due to the loss of a loved one. And since then, her spirit has never left this place. The interesting thing is, when historians began re-examining the archives of Tat Tak School, they could not find any documents confirming that such a suicide had ever occurred. No police record. There is no press release. There is no official documentation. That doesn't mean the story is necessarily wrong. But that's not enough to confirm that it ever happened. In other words, to this day, the woman in the red dress remains just an urban legend, although there is no historical evidence. But the stories from the locals are becoming increasingly numerous. A group of young people said that, while filming at night, they saw a figure standing at the end of the second floor hallway. When you shine the flashlight on it, there's no one left. Another person recounted, he heard the rhythmic tapping of clogs on the cement floor. Step by step, very slow. But when I returned, the hallway was completely empty. Some people say they saw the red dress disappear behind the door. Some people claim, while taking photos, the camera continuously focused on empty space, as if there's a person standing there, but it's invisible to the naked eye. If you ask the locals, what is the scariest place in Tat Tak School? Many people would answer immediately, women's restroom. This is the place associated with the story of the woman in the red dress. The atmosphere here is already chilling enough. The walls are covered in moss. The mirror is broken. The rotting wooden doors swayed in the wind. Water dripped from the ceiling. When the wind blows through, the sound of the hinges was like a sigh. Many people say that, when you walk in here, they always felt like someone was staring at them. Some people say they heard crying. Some people heard women whispering. But when we checked, nobody. The interesting thing is, psychologists believe that abandoned toilets are among the places most likely to make people feel uneasy. The space is cramped. The light is dim. The sound of running water is faint. Echo. All of these can cause the brain to misinterpret normal sounds as something frightening. But once you already know the story of the woman in the red dress, the brain will automatically search for any signs that confirm that fear. That's called confirmation bias, a very common psychological phenomenon. There were more than just people. One of the most frequently appearing accounts is the sound of children. Many people say, in the late afternoons, they heard laughter, the sound of running, the sound of chairs being dragged across the floor. Some people even claim to have heard the sound of students reading aloud coming from the classrooms. At first glance, this is unbelievable. But if we look at it from a different perspective, Tat Tak School was once a place where thousands of students grew up. For almost 70 years, the sounds of children used to fill the air everywhere. Maybe that very memory. This made it easy for the brain to interpret even the smallest noise in the school as a familiar sound. Tat Tak School's reputation quickly spread, especially after the internet developed. Many ghost hunting groups come from Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, and other places. We have found this place. They brought infrared camera, voice recorder, electromagnetic measuring device, thermal camera, and all sorts of devices are supposedly capable of detecting paranormal phenomena. During hundreds of hours of filming, there are some videos that give many people goosebumps. A door closed by itself. A dark shadow flashed past very quickly. A sound like a whisper. But, as experts analyze each frame, most phenomena can be explained. The door closed because of the wind. Shadows are a change in light. The strange sounds could be from birds, stray cats, or echoes. That doesn't end the debates. Opposite, this made Tat Tak School even more famous. Because, for many people, mystery is always more fascinating than a simple explanation. Even to this day, no one can prove that Tat Tak School is actually haunted. But no one can make rumors disappear completely. Maybe. The scariest thing isn't whether or not there are ghosts, but it's about. All it takes is enough people to believe in a story. Then that story will gradually become a part of the place itself. And with Tat Tak School, that has been going on for almost 30 years. But if the legend of the woman in red is just a rumor, so what was it about this school that made it associated with death and spirits in the first place? Some people believe that the answer doesn't lie within the classroom, but it lies deep beneath the ground. Many believe this place witnessed some of the darkest chapters in Hong Kong's history. Each location is rumored to be haunted. They all seem to have a story related to death. Tat Tak School is no exception. For many years, locals have passed down the story that the school was built on land where many people were once buried. Some say he was a victim of war. Some say these were civilians who died during a period of turmoil. There are even rumors that there are still unexcavated graves beneath the school grounds. That's a very scary story. But, is that true? To answer this question, we need to go back to the darkest period in Hong Kong's history. December 1941. The Japanese army attacked Hong Kong. After just over 2 weeks of fighting, the British colony was forced to surrender. The 25th of December, 1941, is known to the people of Hong Kong as Black Christmas. For almost 4 years afterward, Hong Kong lived under Japanese military occupation. It was a time of famine, disease, and violence. Many villages in the new territories were severely affected. People had to be evacuated. Some areas became sites of military activity. So, it's not surprising that many stories about deceased people surface around the Pingshan region. But until now, there is no reliable historical evidence to confirm that Tat Tak School was built directly on a mass grave. Local historians have also not found any archaeological records or official documents to substantiate this rumor. That doesn't mean the surrounding area has never experienced war. It simply means that the rumors about a school built on a mass grave remain unverified. Actually, Tat Tak School didn't become famous immediately after it closed. In the first few years, this is just another abandoned building, like hundreds of others in Hong Kong. Things only changed when the internet started to develop. The first photos were posted on forums. Next are articles recounting strange experiences. Then came the nighttime exploration videos. Each person added a little something to the story. A small noise turned into a cry. A faint shadow becomes a soul. A strong gust of wind becomes an invisible hand. And in just a short time, Tat Tak School has become a household name among those who love mysterious places. As fame spread, ghost hunting groups also began to appear, one after another. They brought all sorts of equipment with them. Infrared camera. The recording device has high sensitivity. Magnetic field measuring device. Thermal camera. Some groups even stayed overnight to document any unusual occurrences. In many videos, the audience can see the doors closing by themselves. The noises were coming from the floor above. There is an audio recording that allegedly contains a very faint voice. Those who believe in the supernatural see it as evidence. But skeptics have a different perspective. They pointed out that an abandoned building, left unfinished for decades, will inevitably contain numerous elements that can generate sound. The wind blew through the corridor. Wooden door frames expand and contract with temperature changes. The corrugated iron roof rattles when the weather changes. Mice, stray cats, or birds move around inside the building. In a place of absolute tranquility, even the slightest noise can startle a person. The interesting thing is, science has been studying this phenomenon for a very long time. The human brain is designed to recognize faces and shapes extremely quickly. That's why we can see a face in the clouds, or a face appearing on the tree trunk. This phenomenon is called pareidolia. Dark. Just a few patches of light and shadow. The brain will automatically piece them together to form a human figure. It's not because someone is standing there. That's because our brains don't like ambiguity. It always tries to find an explanation. When you step into Tat Tak School, the story of the woman in the red dress was already forming in my mind. Then any red shirt caught on a tree branch, a patch of paint is peeling off, or the reflection of the flashlight. They can all be interpreted by the brain as the character themselves. Psychologists also mention another phenomenon. That's the expectation effect. If 10 people walk into a room at the same time, 9 people were told that the place was haunted. A person who knows nothing, the likelihood that the first 9 people will feel insecure is much higher. They are more sensitive to unusual sounds, easily startled. It's easy to believe you just saw something. While the last one, you might not notice anything unusual. This does not mean all witnesses are lying. Opposite. Most of them genuinely believe what they experienced. But human experience, it doesn't always accurately reflect reality. What makes Tat Tak School different? These aren't just ghost stories, but it's also about the scenery itself. A neglected school. The rows of tables and chairs are covered in dust. The blackboards have never been erased. Sunlight streamed through the broken windows. It all created the feeling that time had stopped. That's what keeps the human imagination running wild. Because abandoned places always raise the same question. What happened here? And when there are no answers, people will create their own stories. Until today, there is no scientific evidence to prove that Tat Tak School is haunted. There are also no historical documents to confirm the legend of the woman in the red dress or the story of the school being built on a mass grave. But That doesn't make the place any less terrifying, because sometimes the most haunting thing isn't the spirits. Instead, it was silence. A school that was once filled with laughter. It was once a place where thousands of children entrusted their dreams. Now, only the sound of the wind whistling through the broken windows remained. Maybe it is that very memory that is the real ghost of Tat Tak School. An invisible ghost. But it always remains in the minds of anyone who has ever set foot in this place. If one day you have the chance to visit Hong Kong, do you have the courage to step through the iron gate of Tat Tak School? Or will they turn their backs? What if you felt someone silently watching you from the end of the hallway? If you love stories about mysterious places, history, and legends from around the world, don't forget to subscribe to the WonderQuest Diaries channel so you don't miss out on the next exploration journeys. And please leave a comment. Do you think Tat Tak School is truly haunted? Or is it all just the power of fear and imagination? See you again on our next adventure.